So today, Harbinger, the new mission that is where you farm random rolled Hawkmoons, launched. Now the way it works is you can get up to 3 apparently per week. A friend of mine did it solo, got 1, and then got 2 when we did this run in the background with him. So you should be able to get 3 a week. Possibly you get 1 for doing it in a fire team, you get 1 for the quest, and then you get 1 for doing it solo. That's what we think. So beyond that, I wanted to kind of talk about difficulty, because the first time you were playing this, it doesn't show you the modifiers when you load it up. Unlike this time, this run in the background is when we select the little node on Earth, you can see the modifiers that are active. But when you're running it without selecting that node, so you're just doing it for the first time, when you go to Trossland and go behind the fireplace and start the mission, all these modifiers are still active. And when we were running through it the first time, me and another friend, it actually felt like it was pretty difficult. Not like Grandmaster difficulty, but like it felt like the most difficult and fair combination you could kind of get to. And this is what I kind of wanted to talk about today, was like the difficulty in Destiny. Like, majority of the game is really easy. And I just wanted to kind of point out that like these few modifiers in here actually make it feel like enough difficulty to where you can actually feel your build sort of working, and you can kind of see the effect of it, especially if you're doing low man or solo on this or something like that. Now let's go over the modifiers that are here. You got a champion mod, you got match game, and you got an elemental damage mod, and then 2 other miscellaneous mods like grounded or health regen affecting mods, stuff like that. I'm just speaking generally here to try to think of it as how it could scale to like the base game. And like, this kind of feels like the perfect difficulty that the Strike playlist should be. I feel like this is the perfect synergy of modifiers as far as difficulty, because it's not too hard that you cannot get through it, but it's also hard enough to where it affects your loadout. You know, like you have to go in there with an element to break all the shields. Now in this, all 3 elements for the shields are present, so in normal strikes it's usually just 2, so that kind of opens up your inventory in those. And in this, the champions obviously, you know, on lower tiered nightfalls and stuff like that, strikes, that may not be present. But this has such a hint of champions in it, I think it's a good amount. I just wanted to kind of make that point to start thinking about like, maybe the strikes, when you go select them on their planet, maybe they're like the normal version right now, but then when you go to the strike playlist, they have like 5 modifiers like this, so there's some sort of challenge to it. And what I'm saying about challenge is really there isn't anywhere to use your builds. Like, we have all these Warmind cells and Charged with Light builds, and like most things you don't really see the effect of that because there's nothing that's really pushing you to do that. There's nothing in the game, except for Grandmasters, that are hard enough to actually incentivize you using the builds, like Warmind Cells and Charged with Light stuff. And when you go into Grandmasters, it's like you're jumping off a mountain. You know, it's going from like a little hill to a mountain. Like, there's this huge leap in difficulty. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, that this mission is really well designed as far as difficulty, and I really hope that this is the sort of difficulty that Bungie could use going into the future for strikes and stuff like that. As for the mission itself, it's pretty good. You know, it's pretty long. This honestly feels like a better strike, especially if you low man it, because you actually feel like you're under the threat of enemies. The fact that they have all 3 elemental shields present really changes it up too, because then you have to work in all the different elements and stuff like that. I believe this footage in the background is me actually using Top Tree Dawnblade with Necrotic Grip, and the reason I did that, well, one, I was getting the Flawless Triumph, which I end up doing, and so it's a good way to stay in the back and kind of apply dots and stuff. But like, almost every enemy in here uses shields. This is something that I touched on in a previous video about how Bungie doesn't really utilize shields, and something like this is a really good example of like, hey, this is an easy way to make something harder. For example, hard raids. They could literally just add shields to all enemies in a raid, put match game on, increase the light of the enemies a little bit, and that would be a hard mode raid. That'd be better than not having anything as far as I'm concerned. I know this is kind of a random video, but I just really felt like I needed to get my thoughts out on this, that like the difficulty of this, it just feels so good, it's so crisp, it's like a perfect glove being put on your hand. And I think they really hit the nail on the head with this mission. I really hope that this sort of difficulty gets pushed into the game at large. If you like this video, a thumbs up is appreciated. If you want to be notified of future videos I make, hitting the subscribe button with the bell notification to do that. I'm just going to let the rest of this play out. It's the Flawless run, as I said. The Flawless is a solo Flawless, if you're interested in doing that. So just worry about yourself as far as not dying, and you should be good. I'm going to be attempting this as a solo Flawless later, so there's probably going to be a video of that coming up after this is uploaded.